No, I think we have the same ones. Martinelli is still out. Saliba, we have to wait and see. We have another training session this afternoon, and the rest is still getting closer. I think in the right direction, but not available yet.
So Saliba's got a chance, but Martinelli, do you foresee how long he might be out for?
No, we don't know yet, but I think this game is going to come too early for him.
Just on those other four that you mentioned, just Jesus, Odegaard, Madueke, Havertz, have you got any updates on when they could be back?
I would say weeks, and some of them pretty soon, hopefully, if they keep evolving the way they are doing. But difficult to put a game. You know that we have the international break, which is a 2-week break there. And after that, I think we'll have some back. I don't know if it's going to be all of them, some of them, but we'll be quite close by then.
8 wins on the spin now for your team. I'm guessing momentum is very, very difficult to build, but very easy to shatter in a way. Is that the message to your team, to keep the foot on the gas consistently?
Yeah, and maintain the level of urgency, the concentration, the focus, the ambition that we are showing every game. And every game brings different challenges. Sometimes we have to be very patient. Some of the times we have to have a different approach. And the game against Burnley is going to be really tough. They are extremely well coached. I know it's called really well what is done with the club and with this team. It's formidable. And when you look at all the games that I see, 5 of those, the last games that they played, very, very tough team to beat.
They are one of the 3 promoted teams. In the last 2 seasons, all 3 promoted teams have gone down. Currently, none of those 3 promoted teams are in the relegation zone. Can you put into context how competitive this particular Premier League is?
Well, more than ever, I think the level is increasing year after year. Better structure, better organization, better decision making from clubs, managers, better players. So it tells you the difficulty of that. And when I look against big teams, the way they have behaved and how they have earned points or lose points, it's for very small margins. And that's the reality in this league.
You've said before that you've loved every minute of being manager at Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
I guess even win, lose or draw, you said that you loved it. Is picking this team currently fast becoming the worst part of your job?
No, I cannot say that. It is the worst part in terms of the decision with certain players when you don't allow them to play, which is the hardest part in our job. But they acknowledge that as well, and at the end it's like when they make decisions, some good, some bad. I'm not judging every decision that they make. We cannot do that. So the other way around, this cannot happen. So at the moment we are dealing with it in a really positive way, and you can see the consequences to that in the impact that every player that is not playing is having, and when they have to play, the way they are performing. And you only do that with good preparation and good mental state.
How do you manage that disappointment though? Because it's human nature for players to say, I should be playing, I deserve to play, but sometimes you have to tell them, actually, you're not going to be in the team today.
Well, it's an education that you get since you are young and you decide to play football. You know that there's 11 players playing and then another 10 or 12 that they're not going to start the game. Doesn't mean they're going to be important for the team. So hopefully that's an education that all of us got with the right coaches very early in our careers. If I have to do that right now, obviously it will be difficult, and just try to do it with an open heart, understanding that you care about them and you want the best, and they will have their moments, and then try to be as fair as possible when you see certain behaviors and that willingness to play, give them obviously the opportunity to play.
Final one for me, Mikel. It's often said a team reflects their manager. When I'm watching Arsenal now, they look calm and controlled. Mm-hmm. When I'm watching you on the sidelines, you seem to be calm and controlled.
Yeah. Sometimes more than others, yeah.
Are you? And I remember you were talking just before the Atletico Madrid game that you've been working on that side of it. What have you done to try and become a little bit more calm and controlled on the sideline?
Well, I think it's the years. I think the trust and confidence that you have in the team as well, in the work that you do. Getting feedback, I think, is the best thing for people that are very close in our jobs, people that knows you really, really well. Where is that coming from? Because sometimes it's a way. I want my team to be very active, and and at the same time very creative and very disciplined. And if you want the manager to be like that, you cannot be just watching the game like this. So as well, it's something that is the way I am, is the way I live the game, and I want the players as well to live the game constantly with that body language. And from there, yeah, you can always improve.
Thank you. Anita, Premier?
Morning,
Hi.
Mikel. I wanted to pick up on what you just said there. Are you able to maybe tell us who it is that you turn to for feedback?
No, a lot of people, some of them, and I cannot say it here, but it's just that, and the good and the bad, all ideas that they can bring to make us better. People that have a different perspective, they're not with us every single day, and probably that's the people that has the more clear picture about looking at things with a different idea or perspective to help us, not only me, but all the coaches, and for sure the players as well.
Some of them we know, is that other managers by any chance?
Yeah, other sports can be, but you will know them, yeah.
Okay. And going back to the competitiveness of the team, after the game against Brighton, Miles Lewis-Skelly said that he enjoys that competitive spirit and he loves to give you something to think about. Do you feel in virtually every position at the moment, all your players are giving you something to think about ahead of choosing a starting 11?
Well, that's what we want to create. If we want to get the best out of all of them, those standards have to be set in training. And if you don't have that in training, very difficult to replicate it during matches. So this is the balance between the competition and the cooperation between the players as well, to understand their role on the day and what they have to do. But I love that spirit.
Scott Parker was also very complimentary about you. He said that it's an exceptional, well-oiled machine when it comes to talking about Arsenal. Do you feel the team is a well-oiled machine, or how far are they away from being that?
Yeah, I think we are able to dominate a lot of aspects of the game. We can, of course, improve in many of them still, and that's a constant evolution as a team. But the more resources and the more things we can dominate throughout a game, especially in the Premier League, the better chance you have to win games.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Ian Toxell. Hi, Mikel, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
As we sit here right now, we don't know when your League Cup quarter-final with Crystal Palace is going to be played, because there is, to put it mildly, a pile-up of fixtures.
Not on Christmas Day, I think.
It's not.
Christmas Eve.
It's an option.
Okay. Hopefully not.
I was wondering if you could speak to me about where we've got to now regarding players and supporters, and how the amount of fixtures and how often they're coming is beginning to affect both players and supporters.
Yeah. Well, every decision that we make in terms of a fixture has to be guided on two main things. I think players' welfare and then supporters. That's it. And the rest has to come very, very far away from that. And we should never forget that principle. That's the only thing I would say.
Well, they've got big ambitions this season, haven't they? Jodie, Jamie Carragher says that Gabriel is maybe the most important player in the Premier League at the moment. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I can see his importance to Arsenal. I wouldn't
Not to other sides, no.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't necessarily call it in the Premier League, but I can see Carragher with his defensive hat on and seeing how important Gabriel is to not just the defensive line, but how important he is at set pieces. He's a bit of a leader. But me personally, I really like the partnership with him and Saliba. I know Saliba hasn't played every game this year, but I'm also saying I think them as a partnership, with the way that the team defend, it enables players like Gabriel to show their leadership qualities, not only in both boxes, but with how he is with the rest of his players as like, he's not the captain, but if you've got a few of those leaders in your team, I agree with Carrie. He's certainly one of the most important players.
Yeah. Okay, one of. We'll settle on that.
Yeah.
It feels like they do have quite a few leaders now, though, doesn't it?
I think that's what the manager's been trying to conjure up and build. Yeah. I think most of the top clubs and most clubs nowadays do their due diligence trying to recruit, and they've certainly recruited really well, both with the technical gifted flair players as well as the sturdier ones that are, like I say, going to help the defensive aspect of it, and they're certainly a big side to be competing with.
What do we make of all the set-piece talk? Because 69% of their goals this season have come from set pieces. Is it sustainable, or is it a case of, well, if you keep scoring from set pieces, well, we'll we'll keep going with it until it isn't.
Yeah, I think in the short term, I think go with it. I think you find your strength and you find your way to win games. We were speaking off air earlier about when Arsenal go and play teams now, a lot of teams are in a low block, so it is hard for their more sort of attacking players to break defences down. So you do have to look at other ways to score goals, other ways to beat your opponent, and they found something here, and they found a gem in their set piece coach. We see quite a lot of him, don't we, on the sideline? But
rightly so.
He's and like you say, rightly so. What he's doing and the ideas that he comes up with, the players have got to implement it, but you find weaknesses in your opponent, and football seems to be going that way where there's a lot of teams that are very set piece based at the moment, and he's really helping them out.
Does style matter? I know Arsenal fans at the moment, they won't care how they're scoring their goals, and they won't care if they're winning by 1-0 or 5-0 to an extent. Whereas if you speak to opposition fans of Arsenal at the moment, they're saying it's so boring to watch. Like, if they go 1-0 up, I'll turn the TV off.
Yeah, but it's back to Mark's point. The respect that teams are giving the better teams nowadays means that they're going into the low block. But if you come out and want to play against Arsenal, they'll tear you apart with their passing and their quick movement and their attacking ability. But most teams ain't doing that because of the level of where Mikel Arteta has got his team to. I think they've been like that for a couple of years, to be honest. And yes, would they like to be creating more chances from open play? I'd probably say yeah. But even when people were trying to be critical of Arsenal and Arteta at the beginning of the season, you're like, if you're making Man City go defensive at this point in the season already, you deserve respect. There's a reason why Pep has never really ever done that, because he's usually outwitting or outplaying the opposition. And when I know they didn't end up going and win the game, and same against Liverpool, but it took an amazing free kick. Yeah. That's where you get a manager that's focusing on performance rather than just results is important for the long-term ability of the group, because every interview that he was doing was saying, look, we're playing well.
Yeah.
I know we haven't got over the line, but we're playing well. And I think that's what gets sometimes missed when you're talking or being critical of managers, is like when your performance level is good and you're forcing teams to defend, then you're doing something right.
Well, he's come out, I think, was it after the Palace game, when he said that was the best performance we've had this season, or that is the happiest result that I've had, which is maybe indicates that. A big question for both of you. Is this Arsenal team this season better than Liverpool's team last season that went on and lifted the Premier League title?
Is it better?
It's tough.
Yeah, it is a tough question. I'm probably going to say no. I don't think it is. I think the one advantage that they do have is, and one thing that I look at them probably compared to Liverpool's team this season, is they've been together a while now. Yeah, a couple of additions here and there, but they've had a good period together. And I think you look at Liverpool's team that won it last year, and they had that. They had a settled squad for so long that had brought them success. They knew how each other worked. They knew how they worked on and off the pitch. And I look at Arsenal now and what Arteta's built over time, and I see that. I see that they've gone for a long-term plan. Yeah, this has to be the year that they finally do it, but they're in a great position to do so.
What do you reckon?
No, you can't, just purely because we're
at this stage. At this stage of the season.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, they're different teams, but as I said, they're two great teams.
Pleasing because of course from our fixture list, what come out, and sometimes the psychological element of what maybe not the results going your way can puts huge pressure on certain fixtures. And you're right, that while them games we didn't get results out of certain games where we were competitive, but for one reason or another we've not got the points there. There was games that obviously fell that we obviously had to go and get a result really. So and we've managed to do that. So that pleases me massively, and it puts us in a good position coming up to the remainder of the season really.
Yeah, because it's striking, isn't it? It's not just yourselves, Leeds as well, Sunderland. All three teams are in good positions at this point as we head towards that second international break.
Yeah, I mean, look, like you said, the three teams that come up have been very competitive, and I think I've referenced it a few times. This is still early part of the season, and there's still a long way to go, and the consistency of us and the consistency of many teams will be the defining factor, really. So some really good early signs certainly from us, which is very encouraging. The message is that consistency in terms of what we're doing, our habits and how we've got results need to be there for us to obviously keep producing the performances and hopefully the points that we need.
So how do you view then what is obviously a tough fixture against Arsenal? Currently they're setting the pace. Is it pressure off, nothing to lose, or do you expect yourselves to go into that game and get a result?
Well, the aim is for that. And while, of course, in the context and having an understanding of the opposition we're up against, I think we always have real understanding of the difficulty of this game. This is a top team that have been together for some time, and they're in and around at favourites to win the division this year. So there's a big challenge for us this week. But we'll go into this as best we can, prepped, and try and give the best version of ourselves to try and get a result for sure. And we're going to need certain ingredients as always. We're going to need to be at optimum in probably every facet of our game. But like I said, over the course of this, we've had some difficult fixtures, and we've been very, very competitive. So I'd like to think again this weekend that'll be our aim, while also having an understanding of what we're up against.
Darren, Arsenal have had an outrageous October. 6 games, 6 wins, no goals conceded. And people are still complaining about the way in which they are scoring goals. Yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it?
It is hard to believe. You don't get extra marks for artistic impression, just pats on the head and your hair ruffled. I think as far as they're concerned, what he has done has been an outstanding vindication of his transfer policy. He's brought defenders in as if he's collecting them, and they have provided the platform for Eze to do that, and all of their attacking players to do that. 3 goals conceded in their 9 games so far. I think it's 6 clean sheets in a row now. And it took a bit of brilliance from Liverpool Szoboszlai to beat them. City scored against them as well.
Ironically, from a set piece.
From a set piece as well. They are the leading scorers in set piece terms as well in the Premier League. Arteta's built a machine. I don't think he will care one bit what anybody else thinks of him. They are there by right.
I feel like they can't win because when they were scoring elaborate goals, people were accusing them of trying to walk the ball into the back of the net, and now the set pieces are an issue. 31.3% of their goals in the Premier League have come from open play. It's
11
the fewest.
of the 16
it's the fewest in the league.
Pieces, yeah.
Yeah. Tim, what's your take on it? Is it sustainable?
Yeah, absolutely. The amount of time what he spends on them set pieces is 100% sustainable, and it's not. It's about the delivery. Delivery is second to none. Whether it's Saka, whether it's Odegaard, whether it's Declan Rice, it's on the button, and they're attacking for their lives. You know, and they're big guys. And Eddie Howe talked about it today in his press conference about when you're recruiting players now, you're recruiting size as well. Whereas, you know, you used to have a couple of Oompa Loompas around, didn't you? You know, couldn't get the ball off them. They're popping it around.
Google them if you don't know where they are at home.
Not anymore. Land of the Giants. Land of the Giants.
You know when you won the league with Blackburn, how soon into the league did you start to think, we got this?
Beginning of the season, we believed, because we finished second the year before, so we had real belief. But we had a momentum. If we couldn't win games, we wouldn't lose them. We shut up shop, which was a point. The mood was fantastic going into the following week. I just felt we had real belief. I just see this side is exactly the same.
Is this run of form better than that run of form that you had to give you that confidence, backing up that belief?
No, we had a run of form like that, but they're doing it different ways. But I don't care how we do it, and I don't think he cares how they do it. You know, they can open teams up. Of course they can. And we'll see that because they've got the quality to be able to do it. But if it needs to be a set piece, a team sitting back, when we won the league back in the day, teams used to go, no matter who the teams were, if they were at the bottom of the league or they were at the top of the league, they used to go head to head. They go toe to toe. No one started a game saying we're not going to lose today. There's a lot of teams now in the Premier League sit out there and just put a block in there and just say, hopefully we can take a draw. And they need to find different ways because it's difficult to break down. When you play forward against defence in training, sometimes it's hard to break down the defence when you put the reserve team in there. But they have to find a way. They have to find a way on a Saturday, and what they're doing it with is set pieces. So when they score on a set piece, then the other team has to come out, and then they open them up because they could have got more space to occupy. But I love them. I mean, it's hard for me to say, but I just think they tick every single box. And at the moment, I just think they've got 2 hands on the trophy. It's theirs to lose.
What's interesting, though, is I interviewed Declan Rice after the Fulham victory and said, back to the top of the table, are you looking at that at the moment? And he said, we've been here before, and it's not something they're thinking about. What do you think is really happening in the dressing room? They be talking about it?
Yeah, they're talking about it for like, they finished the bridesmaid 3 times. Now they're going to be the bride. They're getting ready for it's their big day. And there's never going to be a better chance. The quality of what they have around the squad, in depth now, when they get injuries, doesn't matter, just bring another one in. They're coping at the moment with it, but it's not over because Liverpool are a juggernaut and they will come with a run, like I said, and Man City will still be there. But apart from that, I think, for me, it's Arsenal's to lose.
Quick question, how do you think Burnley approach this one? Because they made it difficult for Liverpool. They went toe-to-toe with Manchester United as well.
They will be parking the bus.
Oh. Okay, well, that kills the theory that hot debate I thought we were going to have here about... Yeah, okay.